Alright, this is going to be a quick one, so before we start, do me a favor. Like, comment, hit that noti bell, and if you're feeling frisky, leave a comment. Alright, let's get into it. Drop like rain, nigga, watch me hit those trees. There are so many weird coincidences in the Naruto world that could be explained with a simple sentence or a small explanation, but sometimes those coincidences get a hard stop debunking that makes things more complicated and nonsensical, like Guy not being Lee's father or related to him at all. So I'm just gonna feast my eyes on a few of these coincidences and see if we can piece together a coherent video. Yeah? Sounds good. So, first stop, since I already mentioned it, is Guy and Lee. It's almost a troll that Guy and Lee aren't related, considering they look exactly alike and are both prone to taijutsu more than any other ninja. But that's not where the road ends, because when you see their relationship and how Guy is Lee's #1 role model and seemingly best friend at times, you gotta wonder what his actual dad thinks about that. And not to mention his mother, like, as far as we're concerned, he just popped out of nowhere and Guy was ready with the jumpsuit and bowl cut, which, if they showed that's how it happened, I wouldn't be in the slightest surprised. Like, we know for a fact that Lee somehow graduated the academy, and just a little side note, it's never mentioned that Lee failed, so for all intents and purposes, he graduated his first try with nothing but the lowest level of taijutsu, and it's never stated that Guy trained Lee before he graduated the academy. And in fact, in the anime, the opposite is implied, as if Lee graduated the academy with literally no skill, which makes it kinda seem like Naruto only failed so many times because of the fear and hate that people had for Kurama. But back on Lee, what really stands out to me is that we see Guy's father, and even in context with the 8 gates and 7 ninja swordsman stuff, Might Die is irrelevant, and he has an unfortunate name. And sure, Lee's father is just as, if not more, irrelevant, and it's not like we see a boatload of the main character's parents, but the ones we do see at the very most play background roles or are completely inactive, so it's just weird that Guy is kind of portrayed to be the way he is with Lee and then revealed to not even be related to him, which is crazy because I would have accepted older brother or cousin. Hell, I would have accepted if they were just in the same clan or ninja family, but neither one of them comes from that, and it really makes me wonder why they even made Lee mirror Guy in the way he did. But if we're talking actually confirmed to be related, let's talk about 2 characters who are barely in the show, and I think they may only have 1 or 2 scenes where they are in each other's presence, and they still never acknowledge the relationship. Asuma and Hiruzen. I bet you even forgot Hiruzen is Asuma's father, making him Konohamaru's uncle, and the reality is he never even talks to those two. The entirety of his screen time, he's either with his students or Kurenai, and even then, we only really see him interacting with Shikamaru and maybe Choji. I think he may have less than 3 or 4 lines directed towards Ino, and even his relationship with Kurenai isn't that fleshed out. And I don't follow Boruto, but if you do, let me know your thoughts on his daughter Mirai down in the comments. But back to Hiruzen, Konohamaru, and Asuma, I deadass wouldn't have known these 3 even knew each other personally if I didn't know Asuma was a Sarutobi. I think Konohamaru might have called him his uncle at some point, but it's not enough for me. Like, remember Hiruzen's funeral when everyone is standing there sad? Asuma never says a word about losing his father, or even a word to Konohamaru, who's taking it worse than everyone. And of course that's because he's a kid, but come on, man. It's nothing to throw in a keep your head up, or even a shot of Asuma looking a bit more sad than he was, because I'm not saying he should have been ballin', he's a stoic ninja, cool, but even just a bi old man would have sufficed for me. But even with all that, I think those two's relationships still hold more weight than Tsunade being the granddaughter of Hashirama. Like, that one little tidbit throws Naruto's timeline for a loop. Like, a lot of stuff we could have accounted for if the village was 150 to 200 years old at the least, but Tsunade being in her 50s and Hashirama having a memory of her as a toddler means we're looking at the village being less than 100 years old. And if you mean to tell me there were 4 great wars in the span of 75 years after they made the jump from scattered clans to full-scale villages, and then when he gets brought back to life by a jutsu that makes him basically immortal, he really has nothing to say to Tsunade. And yeah, they're in the middle of a war, but Hashirama had 100 times the dialogue with Madara than he did with his own granddaughter. Actually, I'm starting to see why all those wars happen.
That thunder on me clap, make a nigga think before he act. Have a nigga dying on his back, then we double back. Shooters leaving rubber where you at. That's why niggas never wanna match.